At this point, Arch Manning has all but confirmed that he's coming back in 2026. There have been multiple reports that people close to this situation think that he's coming back. And now his grandfather Archie is basically saying they're going to prepare him for the next year's draft, not 2026. So he will be back in a Texas Longhorns uniform. And we're going to talk about what that means for Arch, what that means for Texas, because I think there are a lot of exciting things with this potential move, this potential return. We'll start with 2025 and then we'll dive into what it means next year. So this year, you look at the schedule they have. Obviously, we're excited to see what Arch Manning can do, especially against Ohio State. You're looking at a guy that has a ton of hype, and I don't know if we've seen this type of hype for a player in quite some time. It feels like we have a lot of excitement surrounding him, and he has definitely created a lot of buzz around both Texas, around his game, and we're going to get a chance to see if the hype is real right off the bat. The road trip to Ohio State, everybody's really talking about that one. They're going to have opportunities to show that they're the real deal. Arch Manning is also going to have a chance to show that he is actually going to be a really good quarterback. And that's going to give us a preview of what's to come. And when you look at the rest of their schedule, the next three games aren't relatively difficult. So you're going to have 3 wins right there. And then there's a little bit of a tough stretch when you go to Florida and then play Oklahoma. And then later the game against Georgia and Texas A&M. There are plenty of games for Arch Manning to showcase that he is the real deal and build a lot of that hype. And this year, there's a lot of expectations. And as much as we think that this year is going to be the highest that they're going to get, if he does return and he has a successful year in 2025, they're only going to grow. We think that we've hit the ceiling with Arch Manning, I think sometimes, but it might be another level that it can reach. There's a lot of excitement surrounding his game. There's a lot of potential in what he can do for this offense. And in Steve Sarkisian's offense, you know that the right quarterback can make a big difference. And if you're able to do some of the things that people expect Texas to do, whether that's winning a national championship, Arch winning the Heisman Trophy, you look at some of the things they can accomplish in 2025, that is going to take things to a whole nother level. And I think that we thought that this is getting out of hand sometimes. This is getting crazy. Now you're going to see in 2026 that this could be even crazier than it was this year. Now, when you look at 2026, there are a lot of players that either have to come back or could come back for another run. So the first thing we'll point out is the talent that should leave as well as what should return. So you look at the guys that are coming back. Arch Manning, if he is truly coming back, which it's like I said, basically all but confirmed, the running back position is still going to be stacked. Now, I do think if Quintrevion Wisener or CJ Baxter have a good year, one of them is probably going to leave. The other one probably comes back. Maybe they do lose both. For now, I'm just going to put one as coming back. The other one is going to leave. Jarek Gibson could be back as well. And with the recruiting that Steve Sarkisian and his staff have done, you feel pretty confident that this group should be loaded once again. The rushing attack should be just fine. The wide receivers, kind of the same thing. Ryan Wingo is going to be a really fun player for this team. He will be back for sure. Khalil Lockett is a freshman that may contribute for the Longhorns in 2025. He will also be back. DeAndre Moore, depends on what kind of year he has. If he has a big year, maybe he goes to the NFL. If he has an okay year, maybe he decides he wants to come back, improve his draft stock. The wide receiver position is stacked. There are multiple freshmen that could contribute this year as well, and they will return. So Arch Manning is going to have plenty of options downfield. So while we do think that this 2025 season is exciting, I'm mostly excited for what this means in 2026. Yes, it's cool to know that he could have a big year, but the idea that he'll come back in 2026 adds to the excitement for this year, because the excitement that you can build this year only makes next year even more. And the offseason is going to be incredibly fun to talk about Arch Manning and what this Texas Longhorns team can do. The offensive line might go through a little bit of a transition. You might get a couple guys back. A guy like Brandon Baker will be nice to have back. You're going to lose one player for sure. I think that DJ Campbell will be gone, but that's just how good he has been for them. So it's not really a surprise. Colin Simmons is coming back. I think that people are excited about what he can do as well. It's just that Arch Manning's on your team, so you're probably not going to get a ton of recognition at the level that Arch Manning is. Brad Spence could be a guy, he comes in from Arkansas. He could come back next year. Again, so much is going to change between now and then. And being able to tell you which guys are coming back for sure, which guys are not, it's kind of hard. Now, some of these guys, we talk about guys like Ryan Wingo, guys like Colin Simmons, they don't really have a choice, right? Now, if they hit the transfer portal, that's one thing, but leaving Texas doesn't feel like something they're going to do. And in reality, Texas has done a pretty good job of keeping the players that they want. They're not losing a player like Colin Simmons. They will do literally whatever it takes to keep him around. And honestly, something would have to seriously go wrong for them to even consider letting him walk. That's just not going to happen. Murad Watson is another player that's going to play a huge role at defensive tackle. You do have guys like Travis Shaw, Cole Brevard. Those are guys that are going to play part of the rotation. Murad Watson is a young player that will be back next year. So you look at this core for Texas in 2026, and this is a group that is going to make another run. And the reason why I bring that up is you're going to look at a team that, depending on what success they have in 2025 or what they do, 2026 could be a special year in terms of their ability to maybe break some records, do something that we haven't seen before. It's just going to come down to, again, who's coming back. And some of the players they are probably going to lose will require a little bit of a transition. The nice thing for Arch and this offense is that they're probably not going to lose a ton of key players. Guys like one of the running backs, Emmett Mosley, a wide receiver, Jack Endries at tight end, DJ Campbell. Those are primarily your big losses. Now, if you have someone else that you think, that's obviously fine, but those are the guys that I think truly are going to depart. There's probably going to be a few more, but the offense, I think overall, is in really good hands. And with the transfer portal being an option, you know that Texas is going to be on the look for any position and player that they can bring in that will help them. The defense is really where you have maybe more concerns. It doesn't really affect Arch Manning, though, too much with the defense. But when you look at some of the guys we talked about, Brevard and Shaw, Ethan Burke is also probably going to go to the NFL draft. Trey Moore is going to be gone. Anthony Hill is basically all but leaving. You have the opposite of Arch Manning. Malik Muhammad, super talented. Michael Taff in the secondary. So the defense will have a little bit to work through. Now, 2025, if this is a year where Arch Manning has a ton of success, he's one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy in 2025. If he does that, and also if this Texas team is able to win a national championship, the hype surrounding this team is going to be honestly out of hand. It's going to be insane. You have one of the most talked about quarterbacks in Arch Manning coming back on a team that won the national championship, and he won the Heisman Trophy. Things are going to get to a level that we haven't seen in quite some time. There has not been talk about a 2 years in a row, 2-time Heisman winning player. We just haven't seen that in a while. And you haven't really had a player that is coming back. So that's a big part of it. It's not just that you have a guy who can have the talent, have the season, have the talent around him to win it. It's just that we've had a lot of Heisman Trophy winners that they win the Heisman Trophy and then they're off to the NFL. And that still obviously might happen. But if Arch Manning wins the Heisman Trophy this year, the excitement for him to win it, especially with the talent around him in 2026, is going to make this an even more incredible story. And then you throw on top of that the ability to go back to back. We talk about some of the teams that we've seen in college football have success. You look at Georgia, you look at Alabama. Texas is looking to become part of that conversation. They are looking to take their game to another level. It feels like that's the next step for them and Steve Sarkisian. They're doing recruiting really well. They have one of the most hyped quarterbacks in college football. They have the talent around them. They have tons of NFL draft potential. Winning back-to-back national championships would be crazy. Obviously, they have to do it first in 2025. Arch has to win the Heisman. They have to win the national championship. But they have a team that can do that. And then when they look at next year, they're set up really well if Arch Manning comes back to do it again. We don't have obviously a full schedule yet. They do have Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA, and Oklahoma. You're going to expect a number of tough SEC teams as well. But if this team can go through this schedule, win a national championship, and their quarterback in Archie Manning wins a Heisman Trophy, the 2026 season could be even more special than 2025. So Archie Manning coming back is exciting, but it's exciting for a multitude of reasons. And it's going to be fun to see how much this team succeeds this year and how much pressure they add to themselves into the hype for 2026.